anti-Osamas because they're supposed to be like it was supposed to be Clinton as having the back deal powers. Like, to be honest, there was an argument that Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton would have more power outside the White House than they did inside. When Hillary went for the White House, the view was, Bill would be running things from outside. She would be running things from inside, and it was total domination, right? And that's kind of how they looked at it. And then this, then Osama came and disrupted them. How are you, Sig? Good morning. What's up, Gio?
What's up, man?
So they're having Major League Baseball for the first time in Korea right now.
Oh, really? Are they playing in Korea?
Yeah, I think it's Dodgers, Padres, or something right now. Look on on USPN. It's there right now. Check it out.
Dodgers and Padres.
Just go to ESPN.
Check out the crowd and see what versus American crowds. Yeah.
Well, it's not North Korea, bro.
It's South Korea, bro. What you mean? Like, we're more liberal than you guys are at this point,
South Korea?
Yeah. In some ways.
It's a super conservative country.
Wow, Dodgers.
On social issues, yes. Economically, no.
Padres are winning, and the Dodgers got the two-way player and Yoshinobu, whatever the hell his name is, the pitcher too, and Padres are winning.
King Nav, let me ask you a follow-up question. When you see a Barack Hussein Obama leaving Rishi Sunak's office, what are they talking about?
Osama.
Barry Barack. Yeah. What are they talking about on at Downing Street?
Well, look, they've been good friends for years, and so no, I'm just kidding. So first of all, there's a couple of points here in context to understand. Rishi Sunak had never met Barack Obama previously. Number one. Number two, when a U.S. citizen has a meeting, especially someone who has Secret Service protection, has a meeting with a foreign diplomat, it has to be cleared by the White House and the State Department. So the fact that, people go, he's just, on his own going in, like, that's stupidity, right? Because the White House knows, like, when John Kerry went to Iran, right, he went on his own, but the State Department knew he was there under Trump. They couldn't do much about it. They couldn't go and arrest him because he didn't do anything wrong, but they couldn't do much about it because he has to file, I'm a former president, here's where I'm going. They can try to, get him on certain laws and stuff. But so Barack Obama is there with the full support of the White House. Now, I think he's talking about, what can be done to neutralize Trump, and if there's anything they can do to help, Biden, and maybe more money for Ukraine and stuff like that. Also, Rishi Sunak is facing a major challenge right now from his own party where they want to oust him and put someone else in. So I wouldn't be surprised if Obama says, look, I'll help you out here, you help me out there. The biggest mistake America made was giving Osama so much power and electing him in the first place. Arguably, John McCain would have been better. At least he would have died before he got a second term. So, giving someone like Barack Obama, energetic and all that stuff, that much power on the world stage, you made him a multi-millionaire, and he has more backroom power than just about anyone today.
But isn't Sunak really trying to gauge what the operation is and whether or not Trump is coming back? They're trying to do their own little internal surveying there. And
Sunak is a globalist.
Yeah,
he's pro Ukraine. He's of course doubles down on Israel. But I mean, he is a person who, you know, look, he's. I would put it this way: he's more of a globalist than Boris Johnson.
What about James Wood saying, giving my political opinion at this point is pointless because I do believe it's going to be another fixed election like the last one. You look at Alex Soros's Instagram; he's constantly jet setting around, nonstop selfies with everybody he buys and pays for in Puppet Masters. He just took a photo with Lin Miranda, the faggot that created that stupid Hamilton musical. He's apparently running for Congress.
Wait, what wasn't Alex Soros fucking Wiener's former wife,
Mm-hmm.
Huma Abedin? Isn't she like 10 years older than him?
They
And he's
they
like
took
fucking
a
the shit out of her?
photo as if they were on a romantic Valentine's date. So he was also dating some other chick, supposedly the love of his life. But when you live the life of a billionaire, vote fixing jet setter, Instagram influencer faggot, and don't forget, he's a doctor. He goes by the name Dr. Soros. That little
Yeah,
faggot is the most dangerous fucking faggot in the world in the sense that he can probably fix and control elections.
well, he'll be worse than his father, and he can go everywhere and do what he wants to do. Um, yeah, you're right, and that's why I think what happens this election, and it's an interesting theory. So hear me out on this. I think this election they let Trump win uh, because they just let him win, but they decimate him during his presidency to the point where they make sure he gets a Democrat House. They make sure he gets his, but they don't do the impeachment and all that stuff. They just decimate him around the world. They set catastrophes up that he has to resolve, and when in their mind, when he fails, they turn around and say, like, MAGA is dead, and essentially turn MAGA on him. They already succeeded in turning a lot of the sanctimonious people against Trump. Can they turn more? And I think that's the best spy game play that you can do. You let your opponent win the battle, but you win the war. And what happens? You finally sunset MAGA, and Brexit and all that stuff starts just going down the tubes because who else is going to speak up for it if you can decimate someone like this? I think that's what happens. Or they double down on him getting in, but they won't assassinate him because that makes him a martyr. So they just, find a way to make it he legitimately loses. They get stuff on every one of his major supporters and flip them, or they plant evidence, and you'll see.
See, this is where you're off. The whole war is to win the White House. And you're just ridiculous to think that they're going to let him roll back into the White House when
well,
the whole.
What I gave a second theory, but look, they let him win in 2016. Just to be clear.
No,
keep in mind.
The whole thing is to completely delegitimize him in every way, every day possible, with even the most minute of things. It's total TDS all the time, and every single room on this app has TDS. All the great moderators of this stupid little clown house hypnosis app have TDS. You tell me one fucker that doesn't have TDS on this app and that doesn't run these big, large.
Edmund, question for you. Okay, question. Okay? Would we be having this kind of fierce political discussion if Donald Trump didn't win in 2016?
So you're giving me a negative. If he didn't win in 2016, would we not be having this conversation? I mean, he would be running again, and we'd be even more hyped up.
I don't know if we would, because in 2016, if he didn't win, right, you would have had Hillary, right, and then you would have likely had Hillary with a re-election in 2020, right. Trump wouldn't be running right now. He would be unknown. We would be fighting with an establishment Republican trying to move forward. The whole movement would have been dead. Now, you could say that is a positive. Look at what Trump did. But at the same time, right, these people have been there. The Tea Party has been there. All of these people. By letting Trump win, you essentially, which is what they did in 2016, you essentially destroy the overall movement if you can control and decimate him. You created TDS. You force people to say which side they're on, right? You basically allowed people to show their cards. And so the fact that, I'm talking about 2016 right now, the fact that that happened, right, divided people more, but it also forced people to become more susceptible. Now you know who you can buy off. Now you know who you got to flip. Does that make sense?
No, he only won because Alex Soros wasn't fully set up yet. Dominion hadn't infiltrated the
Yeah, but
entire
his dad
country.
was. His dad was.
I know,
well set up.
but you got to understand they didn't have the ability or the larger lever to move the election in the way that they needed to, and he caught everybody off guard. We all witnessed it and know exactly what happened.
But Edmund, I mean, there's argument that they flipped the Romney election, they flipped the McCain election. So I'm just saying
They were the
like,
weakest, most pathetic candidates ever. They lost legitimately. McCain was the big. Could you imagine McCain saying, "Oh, he's not a Muslim, he's a fine American"? Like, what kind of a politician is that? You sink your fucking vampire teeth in and you drink your ounce of blood. What kind of a fucking bitch little cuck was that motherfucker? That pasty head little bitch and his fat, disgusting daughter. We're cursed with these people. These people are curses. They're clown people. All of them. Every one of them. We just went through the election, here yesterday, and it is one liberal retard upping another liberal retard and actually winning. The more far left radical retarded you are, you seem to win in Chicago. And my friend lost his Republican committeeship to this other fake Republican. There are so many fake ass fucking Republicans representing as Republican, and they're just Democrat controlled opposition, or they are actual Democrats. There is no left or right paradigm. There's just the victory paradigm. And I, like James Wood, do not believe that Trump is going to win. I get the feeling that we are going to all be severely disappointed, and the clown Kamala Harris terrorism show will continue marching on to gleefully to World War III and the evaporation and destruction of as many young white men in the military as possible, because they will be thrown into some type of major international ridiculous conflict being run by clown people. Where are the military leaders in this country? Where is one solid candidate to step out of the shadows and run for the presidency? Where?
But that's a good point, actually. But you do know that Obama fired like 140 officers in the military who were against his position on the wars, right? So he literally is willing to do things like that.
I know, but we just need one.
Hold up, just real quick. Right. But we had Reagan, and even he wasn't enough. We had Nixon, and Nixon got so paranoid after JFK's assassination that he did Watergate because he felt like he could only trust him, his brother, his chief of staff, and Kissinger. And even then, he was shaky with Kissinger. So I don't know. Imagine you're Nixon, and you just saw JFK get assassinated, and you're pretty sure some faction in the government or people behind some members of the government was probably involved. I mean, you don't know who to trust as Nixon. Holy fuck, But anyway, what was the point? Coming out of the military. Oh, yeah. So we used to do that until what? Eisenhower? Right? And then I think the liberals understand that they don't want people from there because they actually are capable people, right? So it's easier to manipulate middle class type of people going into politics, or even upper class people who aren't top elite level essentially. But I don't think the American people have an appetite for that after the neocons run with
the thing is they'll get Milley. Milley will run for office and everyone will be disappointed again.
Would have been a good, exactly, I hear you. And McCraven was a good one from the centrist position, right? And he's pretty based on certain positions, but Democrat in a lot of other positions. But he would have been the best option for Democrats. I don't know. It's
do you follow General Flynn on Twitter?
Not really.
If you want to talk about a fucking patriot and somebody who's squared on, and understands the situation.
Yeah, maybe on our side, yeah, I'd be okay with that. But a lot of Americans, I'm just speaking in generalities, right? I don't know if a lot of Americans would be open for that. You know how the NPC normie they are. It's just that they would have an aversion, in my opinion. But maybe at this point, with such a incompetent elite, maybe they'll be more receptive in the future. Who knows? Yeah.
I mean, I would like to know if any of these fake ass or moderate Republicans on this app even would be disappointed if Trump lost. I get the feeling like Marshall down there, you actually wouldn't even be upset if Trump lost in another unfair scam election, would you, Marshall?
Marshall actually said he's going to vote for Trump.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Well, second time around. I mean,
because of the
Yeah,
border.
we should ban Sims from voting. So like Marshall likes Spanish pussy, and that's why he votes Democrats all the time, even though he's probably conservative at heart.
wait, Spanish
So-
pussy's beta pussy?
No, but like if you're voting for Biden while you live at the southern fucking Texas border and you see the problems every fucking day and you still vote for Biden, are you fucking serious, my G? Are you serious?
That's what
bro?
Adderall will do to
You
you.
don't deserve the right to vote if you put pussy and virtue signaling to your liberal friends over literally security at the southern border as someone who literally lives on the border, right? He literally tells me about bodies that he had found on his property or his neighbor's property. Bodies of people, right?
Just a good old boy
I
from
mean,
the Rio Grande.
But vote for Biden,
Gotta
right?
get
But
local.
right?
Gotta start knocking on doors and putting up flyers. Gotta stay local. Pass me another Adderall pill.
Yeah, I kind of wish like Biden wins just so that Marshall has to deal with this shit for another 4 years with like 5 million people coming through the border a year. Psych. Just kidding.
If
just
Trump
kidding,
if
but
Trump
yeah.
loses and he's totally sidelined and marginalized, and then True Social IPOs, and he basically becomes, the alternative ruling government through essentially alternative communication. Because I do believe that government in many ways is an illusion. It's actually just like an information chain or network of information. And who controls the
Well, you're
nodes?
kind of recognizing that anybody can just take the will of the people, and if they can have like the backing of the people, that they can actually do whatever the fuck they want. So you're recognizing that FDR was able to do that. You're recognizing Bukele was able to do that in El Salvador, where he just basically ignored the Supreme Court and Parliament until re-elections, and then the people voted in. 90% of the new representatives were people from his position, so that he wouldn't have opposition in Congress again. And he was able to ignore the Supreme Court. Look at FDR. He had the will of the people at his back with he was able to read us. Let me read you his fucking inaugural speech. People don't know this. Like,
Who,
it's
FDR?
Crazy. Yeah.
I mean, talk about Mr. Monopoly. Like, that guy actually wore a monocle and had a top hat and had a cigarette holder.
Well, he was the upper class elite of the New York City.
But that's
Democrats,
awesome.
right? So.
I mean, because he was
We used to be way more aristocratic, and then FDR, ironically, replaced all the aristocratic families in government with bureaucrats, with intellectuals, with academics. That's where we had a complete change of the elites. And then so what you basically did was take the best families in this country that used to be tied down in government so they couldn't just be unfettered capitalists and global capitalists. You replaced them with middle-class intellectuals and then midwits, and then you let those elite families now have no duty or service to do. So now what do? They go make money.
Well,
Or
when
they
you
just,
hear a black girl on this app screaming white structural racism, and you can't understand anything until you understand my position is the truth on white people, and then you go into the government and you see that almost the entire government is run by black people doing, administrative little jobs at mass scale across the government. Without the government, the black population would be in total, absolute, chaos, disaster.
Oh yeah, and the Irish would have never entered the middle class if it wasn't for union jobs that they wrestled out of violence, right? By using mob violence and gang violence and threats and blackmail to get to replace the Anglo upper class from all the major cities in the 1880s to the 1920s, right?
I don't know how sophisticated that Irish operation was, but I mean, I do
Oh, it
like.
was sophisticated enough that they took over every union
Was
operation in the
Hoffa
major
was
cities,
Hoffa
like your
Irish?
dockwalkers.
Was Jimmy Hoffa Irish
Uh,
or Italian
well,
or both?
yeah, but that system was existing before the Italians got involved. Is what I'm saying. The Irish Tammany Hall, Tweed, Boss Tweed. Um, reread that, and see what you think of it, because it's literally the Irish used political violence to get power in these major cities because they were
Mhm.
tired of only having low-ranking positions like the alderman. That was the highest position Irish women were allowed to hold, and they wanted to be able to lobby and basically take control of the police union, the firefighters union, etc., etc., etc.
I mean, when I look at charters or older documents of board of directors, like I have these little mini General Electric calendar handbooks from the early 1900s that, lists the entire board of directors, and when I look at their last names, it's actually a very diverse roster of everybody, including Jews. So I get the feeling that regardless of, your opinion about this like European economic and aristocratic race war, there was still massive diversity within the power structure at that time because the economy was that good. This was the
Wait, what year?
international
When year? What years? What decade?
1900 to 1940.
Yeah, I'm not denying that. Wait, FDR appointed black people to his cabinet, a black woman to his cabinet. Why would I deny that? What are you talking about?
No, I'm not saying deny it. I'm saying that the diversity
No,
of the
I'm
power
saying that
structure.
I never denied that it wasn't diverse. Wait, where are you getting this? I'm
Because you're
confused.
talking
Where?
about how the Irish used political violence to
Uh-huh.
assume power from Anglo-Saxon Protestant,
Mm-hmm.
Europeans, whether that's German or British or French.
Uh-huh. Right. German or British, right. And this is in the major eastern cities, right? Like New York, Boston,
Mm.
what Washington D.C., etc. Well, Maryland. I think it was
So what are you
Washington.
trying to
Baltimore.
say? Is
Sorry,
that the
Baltimore.
Irish are
No,
always
what I'm trying to say
actionaries?
is the people who are willing to use political violence and lobby the most will get power in this country.
Yeah.
And the Irish who are willing to go to jail, even if the FBI had gone in and the National Guard had gone in and arrested every Irish politician, the people would have kept going. It wouldn't have stopped until they got, because the Irish, from my perspective, the Irish got into the middle class literally by doing this, right? They got union jobs, they got contractor jobs, they got construction union jobs, they got firefighters unions and the police union in every major city. That's how they were able to enter the middle class.
Have you
That
seen
was the impetus into the middle
Boardwalk
class.
Empire?
And it's the same thing with the blacks you said with the federal government, right? All these people are mediocre people who are going to government because it pays better than the average job that they would do in the private sector with the equal education and skill level, right?
Have you seen
They're getting overpaid.
Have you seen Boardwalk Empire on HBO?
I've seen like the half of the first season or something like
Oh
that.
my
Yeah.
God. You guys there's like multiple seasons and it's really about the Irish mafia because
Yes, yeah, exactly. That if you've seen that, then you should know what I'm talking about. Half of what they show is like different perspectives of the truth. That's real shit. If you read Tammany Hall and what they were able to get away with in all these major cities, bro, like they were bro, come on,
do
man.
you
Like,
even know any rich Anglo-Saxon families in America today? I mean, I know one or a couple, I
no,
guess,
a
but
lot of them. What happened was, if you read history in the 1900s, they basically like dissipate away in their fucking $1 million mansions in the, Sixth Ave and all these ones in New York. They're basically just like closeted. Like they just stay home all day. They have no
yeah.
purpose. They have no reason why they're aristocrats. They have nothing to contribute to. They could be capitalists. That's about it. They can go and make money again.
It's
But a
true.
lot of them just withered away because like they lost all social capital. Right, it's a death of an elite. It's a death of an aristocracy. The same thing happened in ancient Athens, where during Athenian democracy, the aristocracy realized they had literally no power because everything was down to the people. So they exited the political life and they just became merchants and capitalists and like landowners and just ran their own farms and shit. Like they were like, what's the point of being an aristocrat in a society where the people decide everything? What's the point of being excellent? They're not even using us for anything worthy. So they decided to even like Plato, Socrates, and Aristotle all denounced democracy as they were living through those times. And Aristotle could have been a teacher in like Athens, but he said, "Fuck that! I'd rather go teach Alexander the Great and get the fuck out of here."
You
Fuck
know
all
what's
you.
the interesting thing about this app and Socrates is in his discourses he says, you know, the practice of trolling is in Athens isn't very good today. You'll get punched in the face. He goes, so I don't do it anymore. And that's the amazing thing about this app is that you can come on here and literally like scream in people's ears and not get punched in the face. So
It's crazy what
yeah.
what people allow you to get away with on their stages. It's absolutely crazy to me. Like right now you're being serious and sincere. It's a great conversation with you, but generally it's like you're throwing the shit out of these people for like literally 10, 15 minutes and they just sit there and all take it. It's a weak ass society, dude. We've lost the ability to self-regulate and regulate each other and enforce social norms and slapping like peeping toms because we just wait for the police while he's still peeping for the next 7 houses. Oh, police, are you here yet? He's on his 8th house now. Please come do something. You know, like
Well,
for fuck's
what
sake,
I'm
dude.
saying is this is the modern day gymnasium of Socrates. So I mean, I
Yes,
read
I agree
Marcus
with you.
Aurelius and Epictetus on here all the time, and to me, when I hear Epictetus or Marcus Aurelius, I'm so flummoxed because I know how insignificant and how retarded I am. But when I hear the words of like those ancient Roman philosophers, I'm just like
We're just
this.
going through the same shit. Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is this information has to come out. It's so important to everyone. It's because
Oh
it's
yes, but look. The democracy is the problem in America. When we had aristocratic republicanism in the 1700s, education was the classics. Like
yeah,
because we got our ideas from literally Greece and Rome. They wanted you to read the histories, the
yeah.
Plutarch. They wanted you to read these things so that you could see what was coming. And
No,
now we have a society of people where nobody reads the classics except a few of us nerds online
people
like
would.
Marshall and me, and
Peop,
like a few you and me and Marshall, like maybe a small percentage of the males who do this, right, as a hobby. Everybody else who are citizens who should be doing this as a civic duty
yeah.
are not doing this, and we're not even pushing it mandatorily in schools. Bro, did you know that until the 60s, if you did not pass your civics exams, you could not graduate from high school? They did not even want you to go into making money if you fucking didn't graduate from civics, like if you didn't pass your civics
Have
exams.
you ever seen
And
what's
then you know
on?
what happened?
Have you ever
Go
seen
ahead.
what's on the
What?
historic Chinese state entrance examination, the nationwide Chinese exam that they've been administering for
From
thousands
what
of
I
years?
remember, because Korea copied their system, they had to take some of the everything from moral stories to like old, like a whole bunch of different stories and write it out to learn Chinese. Basically, that's how they learn Chinese. And then on the civics exam, I think they had to be able to, I don't know, I don't, I think it was something like, fuck, I forget. Go ahead, you tell me. You tell me.
Well, I mean, I've been reading Confucius, Lao Tzu, Shuangzi, and other books like the Wing Chun. Basically, it's Taoism or black and white, left and
Hmm.
right inversion, where
Yeah,
there's a pairing of opposites in everything, and
yeah.
that's the truth of the earth, my nigga.
Just
So,
like Christianity, actually, Taoism is similar to Christianity in that respect. Actually, yeah,
well, meaning
like
that
the 7 deadly sins and then the counterparts, right? Like, yes, we see things in dualities, just like Taoists. Yeah.
right, yeah. So with a Taoistic or dualistic perspective, or even just a linguistic communication, it's a much
Hmm.
better communication than just the one-sidedness. And so it's basically linguistic poetry or rebalancing for the psyche, and it creates equilibrium and harmony. So it is like
Well,
a
we're trying to do
neurolinguistic
that in
program.
the West, right? With the dialectic between the left and the right, and that great conversation and great debate will lead to a rational arrival at a compromise or the truth. Generally, it should be the truth, but liberals will say compromise, which is retarded because you shouldn't compromise on the truth, right? So if you're compromising between right wing and left wing values, eventually you get to a point where one of them wins, right?
Well, the thing
You're
is,
not getting
when we
you're
live
not
it,
getting a true right wing or left wing vision. You're getting a combination of both, where you might have the worst of both sides or the best of both sides. Generally, the worst of both sides.
is Kamala Harris just a blathering idiot but a nice person, or is she
No,
just
but why are you switching the topic? Can we stay on that topic instead of you switching it?
Well, my point is, if you believe in Hegelian dialectics or neurolinguistic programming, you would have to
No, no, no.
believe.
I'm not. This is not my argument. I'm just trying to steelman classical liberals. I'm saying this is their argument, right?
Wait, can you back up a couple sentences like prior?
I'm not making this argument from my perspective. I'm steelmanning classical liberals whose perspective of America is like the left and right balancing each other out, which really hasn't
No,
happened for
that's
the
the
last 100 years.
if you read Saul Dialinsky, the whole beginning of Saul Dialinsky's Rules for Radicals is all about Buddhistic equilibrium or essentially Taoism, but organizing real people in the real world, one person at a time. So, I mean, obviously, the whole
Peter
Obama
Pan and
myth
the
is
Pied
not
Piper
real.
is nothing new in history, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
charismatic figures, gurus, right? Whatever you want to call them, prophets. Um, they're never in what would you say short supply.
So classical liberalist, I mean, I don't know why you need to focus on that one specific niche. I mean, we are living in clown world now where clown radicals
No,
are spending more money than ever before.
I brought that up as an example because you said something similar, right? Where it's like a dynamic between right and wrong, right? And I was just trying to show that that dualistic thinking is also in classical liberals, but theirs is like idealistic, right?
Well, I think it's a beautiful philosophy. I've read the Tao Te Ching many times now and listened to it many, many times. Every time I listen to it, the wisdom of that book is profound in terms of strategy because it's basically super subversive. Every single thing is subversive. It's basically a one up or a negation, and then it's just the most remarkable based psychological document because it's dealing with what it really is in Genesis, which is the creation narration or the creation story through just through words. So it's dealing with really like the Big Bang. I mean, it's a very weird document because it's dealing with like base source reality. You have to read the Tao Te Ching and then like have a glass of wine and smoke a joint to like maybe understand the quantum mechanics of it or the quantum theory or relative. I mean, it's a book on relativity. That really is actually all that Taoism is. It's in and out, black and white. So it's just a trip of a book. It's a loop. It's not a loop book. It's like you have to read it. There's nothing like the Tao. And when you look at that word, it's the same word as God. There's a reason why all these three-letter words are essentially dealing with God. And, we use the word God.
Tao actually means the way, right? And Jesus said, "I'm the way, the path, and the light," right? So they have that in common. Yeah, there's been a lot of writing about the similarities between Taoism and Christianity,
Right.
Metaphysically and philosophically. Yep, yep.
Right. So, I mean, you would imagine that Christ was aware of Tao or essentially equilibrium. I mean, I have a
Or
picture.
they were drawing from the same like understanding, right? At the very least.
Yeah, I have a picture of the Last Supper, and after looking at that picture now for many years in my kitchen, I realized it's a clubhouse room because everybody is in disarray except for Jesus, who's sitting at the center of the table at total peace and harmony. So the Tao says, if you forget the way, just go back to the center of the circle and know where you came from. This is the source of all wisdom. So wisdom book hypnosis versus clown house, echo chamber rhetoricians. That's my favorite way to troll is to just play the Tao Te Ching and go from room to room to room, interrupting, playing the Tao. And it's amazing how people reject what they hear because the dopamine feedback loop from the communication exchange on this app is more powerful than listening to somebody's pre-recording, even if it's of a very high material.
Yeah, Clubhouse is democracy in action, right? Basically, and freedom and liberalism. And this is what happens when you give people a lot of freedom. They turn politics into a hobby, right? And then they just sit around talking about it, circle jerking intellectually.
Yeah, but this is also like a drug
yeah.
delivery mechanism technology. People get high by coming to this app. That's why people are here. They're getting high by listening or by speaking.
Correct.
and literally they're getting double high if they're ingesting
Like,
cannabis or alcohol.
that was the boom of the coffee shops after the French Revolution,
Yeah.
and more so. Yeah, it was literally all the middle class being like, "Yo, let's debate politics all the time." You know?
Danton. Danton!
Yes. Sebastian, bring me some more wine. Yes. And then,
Pluto.
like the meme of during the French Revolution, where the rich were literally watching the poor riot and the middle class riot, right? You saw the same thing in the Yellow Jacket riots recently, where there was this great picture of this guy, upper class guy, obviously, well dressed. He's like chilling back, leaning back, right, so comfortable with a glass of wine, and literally he's watching a riot literally happen, like right in front of him. Nothing has changed in France in 230 years, my G's. Oh man.
You're missing out on this big story, Gio. As a monarchist, I'm surprised, a lot of people are not following what's going on right under your nose. Massive changes in power afoot.
What are you talking about? Are you going to be specific? Or
Yeah,
just,
I'm happy. Well,
yeah,
I mean,
be so vague that you sound like a guru. Yeah.
Are you familiar with what's going on, though, with Kate Middleton? Or
not really.
The
I've
royal
heard
family
the
is,
whispers here and there.
basically, there's a big reshuffling in the royal powers. Without putting any masala, without putting any extra onto it. Like, there's some people disappeared, a couple dead also, and a lot of extreme control media. Yeah, exactly. It's something like a Saudi Arabia situation.
Wait, are you saying that Kate Middleton is leading a faction? Oh,
no,
shit.
she's underground somewhere. Not in a good way. Not in a living.
Oh, not in a good way. So
yeah, not in a
faction,
living
are you
sense.
saying against the royal family?
Yeah, there's been some people wiped out.
No,
here.
who is your theory?
Kate Middleton and Thomas Kingston have been killed. Charles.
No. I asked you who is behind this coup. I'm asking you.
William and maybe William and some other supporters. Yeah.
Oh wow!
He's going to ascend to the throne here anytime.
Wow!
And so, but prior to that happening, there's just dead bodies all over the place.
This is an interesting theory.
The media are spinning a lot of different ways, major ways that are pulling the curtain off of the media. They put out 2 actresses to act like Kate at this point, who are clearly not her. Everyone's going bonkers.
What?
They put out fake pictures of Kate, which was first spotted. It's now open on Twitter with no censorship. So there are digital artists all over the place saying that ain't real. Then it became a retraction, the first picture to be retracted from the Royal Palace. Then then Reuters, Getty, everyone else started retracting the picture. It's called a kill notice. They killed the picture because it's fake.
I have seen a lot of this coming out too, but
Hold up, Edmund, shut up. I'm listening right now.
10 days ago. This is 10 days ago, Gio, and then after that, it's been even confirmation very badly that something's wrong with actresses being pictured saying it's Kate. An actress on TMZ, they put out a video yesterday morning saying that they're fine. They were spotted at the market, and it shows the young woman. It's definitely not Kate walking around with William.
Oh wow!
It is it's beyond the pale. American media is not running with it. Elon suppressing a little bit on Twitter. Everyone's trying to play ball. Just let this pass along.
But what is, even if she's dead, Evito, what is the major loss or blow here? I don't understand. People die all the time from all kinds of bizarre, insane things. And if she died of some type of horrific accident or some type of conspiratorial murder, I mean, what are you implying, and what is your point, sir?
I think this is so far past the Overton window for normal events. I think people are having trouble kind of putting it together, but definitely the fact she's missing and dead, probably. Okay, so something happened, either a health event or a killing. Number 2, they're trying to cover it up using a body double. That takes it to the sinister level, right there.
Yeah, but I mean, look at Princess Diana's death. That's totally sinister too. I mean, that bitch died in a fucking car accident. I mean, what the fuck?
This is exactly this is what it is. Yeah, they're outwardly expressing their power.
Yeah.
In a maximum way here. and it's similar to that Diana incident. As a
But why
signal.
would they kill that beautiful woman? I mean, talk about the embodiment of
Well, I mean,
perfection.
we don't need to dig up that corpse, but that is.
Listen, do you think the
that was
medical
a major
industrial
issue.
complex killed her? Because I get the feeling doctors
By
killed
the way,
her.
do you know how they got
Oh my
divorced?
God, Edmund, you're such a fucking schizo. Stay
Republican,
on topic.
don't
please.
troll. This is the
This
good
is
guy.
not a troll, brothers. I'm being
Yeah,
genuine
sure.
here.
Yeah, all right. Shut up. I'm not letting you talk anymore. Shut up.
No,
I
listen,
want to hear
Republican.
this.
So this is major shit going down. It's like the Diana.
You're not a
situation.
good interrogator. You
Yeah,
suck.
let
Shut
me
up.
just weave my story. It's a good one.
You're not
It's happening. It's definitely people don't want to hear it. They're kicking me out of the other rooms for talking about it too much. Quite frankly, Gio.
Okay, I'm gonna
No,
go
I haven't
inside.
heard shit about this. I'm just so this is like the
people don't want to
theory
talk about
online,
it.
right? This
No,
is like
it's not
the
a
theory
theory.
online.
It's not a theory.
Oh, this is your theory.
No, it's not my theory. It's a fact pattern. That's a real fact pattern.
Okay.
People like Andy Cohen or Pierce Morgan or anybody with eyeballs is pointing out the fact pattern. Okay, so it's a definite fact pattern.
Yeah,
There's
this
a question of whether she's alive.
this
for
is a
2
major
months.
headline. I saw it on Drudge Report the other day that they
Well,
got
it's-
caught spoofing, and it's like I didn't really look into it, but I
That's what made it. That's what made it splash onto the papers 2 weeks ago. But really, the aftermath is. So what's happened also is like the government, the Ireland Prime Minister just stepped down this morning. Barack Obama made a surprise visit there yesterday, unannounced, to visit with Rishi, quote unquote, but he was there to visit royals as well. A lot of stuff moving around here in terms of monarchy, change in power, and I'm concerned about it from a loss of there's a loss of belief in the markets, something like that. But I don't think that'll happen based on Diana 97. Things continue to kind of race up into the internet crash. But yeah, I think it's important information. It's triggering. People don't want to hear it. They think that I'm being an asshole over the last couple
well,
of days.
King William's ascension to the throne is probably the most historical global shift that has or ever will happen, because if he has a legacy of 20, 30 years, you can guarantee that William will be the determining factor in the outcome of some type of a military battle, most likely with, who knows? But I mean, it is groundbreaking history. And as an English speaker, how many English men are there essentially throughout the world that can speak English?
It's kind of useless as a figurehead. It's unlikely he's going to be leading battles or anything, but it's a big part of the.
Are you kidding me? That's the whole thing. Is he?
What battle did Charles lead? Or Charles's father?
That's my point. Is that this kid went to Afghanistan and so did his brother. They've already been purged in blood. They're skull and bones men. They're skull and. It doesn't matter. It's all It's obviously symbolic. They don't want to risk their lives. Duh.
Exactly. It's a heavy symbolism here that still these people are attached to it, and it's being torn down, terribly torn down.
Yeah, but so what? Obama's Obama.
Just listen. Stop getting triggered, Republican. You're not unveiled.
I'm not getting triggered. I'm fascinated. Go ahead. Sorry.
Listen. You once you unveil this to yourself, you'll see that it's a massive story. I call it OJ times 100. Gio, this is the OJ story times 100 in terms of recognition.
Right. If you're right about
impact.
this is huge. It's like an internal coup.
Just listen. I'm right about it. It's a fact pattern. It's not my opinion.
Yeah.
I haven't inserted my opinion at all here. My opinion is this guy William probably jumped up onto the table with a Desert Eagle and shot her in the stomach like Red Wedding, like Game of Thrones. That's my opinion. I'm taking that out of this to just give you guys the fact pattern
Right.
of what's happening. Right? So if World War I started over one guy getting grenaded, what happens when an entire Saudi Arabia coup situation occurs over here? And Charles is like torn down, all of his loyalty.
And if I was a petty piece of shit, I would just do what you did to me 2 days ago and just deconstruct this completely. But I think I'm gonna be like, this sounds.
No, it looks like I'm a conspiracy tinfoil or something's wrong with me.
Yeah,
I'll take it. Just leave it to the side.
Yeah.
Fine.
No, it's not even that. No. I'm just saying, if I was petty, I would do the Douglas to you. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
Evital, I just want to submit one more piece of evidence.
It's very triggering. It's causing a rash of reaction like this. Gio, why does it matter anyway? No.
I know. I generally, trust your judgment to a degree. And I have read like a few headlines here and there, like generally without even understanding it. but it kind of lines up with what you're saying. Some shit about the photos being fake or whatever. So yeah, it lines up.
Evital, have you ever seen the video? Have you ever seen the video of Will and Kate endorsing the vaccine, telling out how important it is for everybody to get the vaccine because it protects your community and that kind of shit?
Look, what would you expect anything otherwise? I mean, this is what.
No, but my point is, then the dad comes out with cancer, and Pfizer comes out with their new cancer cocktail. I mean, this is really more about business than like probably, World War III. I mean, it's. So what are you proposing? I mean,
It's not about World War III. Why wouldn't it be about World War III? If something's happening we can't understand. That's what I'm saying.
Well, the thing about Palace Intrigue, have you seen the movie The Madness of King George?
I don't watch movies or TV. Okay.
Well, what I'm saying is there's a theatrical. Listen, you're the one who sounds all panicked.
You're the guy who's hypnosis trained.
Well, that's my point. That's my point exactly, is that these people, the assassins and the rulers, are still doing a theatrical performance whether they want to admit it or not. And if you watch the movie Caligula, you'll see that rulers end up creating performances to mesmerize the masses. So what I'm telling you is you are falling prey to a hypnosis. And I think if Gio wanted to deconstruct this, he could probably tear it apart and I could even tear it apart probably in a few minutes.
The easy second level type of thing, you're just deflecting from.
I'm not deflecting. Like, I genuinely think that what you're saying, there's veracity and truth in it, but I want to see the Twitter stuff and then have a more detailed conversation.
That's because you didn't spend the time or know about it. I mean, you can do that.
I'm taking your word because I know that you're a true man. So I'm not disputing you or deflecting. I'm simply fascinated.
I got no dog in the race. Listen, I'm just.
Neither do I. Why do you think I got a dog in the race?
It's a painful truth. You're trying to flip around and say that I'm the one under hypnosis.
It's not, man. I'm telling you, I'm devastated because she's my dream girl.
Ladies. All right,
Kate Middleton is my dream girl. Is a beautiful brunette, not the most beautiful thing in the world. Tell me the truth. Look at MGK down there. He's like, exactly.
Can you stop, Edmund? Can you stop being so schizophrenic?
I'm not schizophrenic. I'm literally having a fun conversation. I don't understand why you have to ascribe schizophrenia to me.
Difficult? Why?
I'm not. Okay, I'm going to go on silence.
You jump from topic, yes, because you jump from topic to topic. Like,
I know. Okay, let me just go on silence and listen. Thank you, Gio.
Yeah.
I love your rooms and I love your insight as well, FYI.
Oh, I appreciate that, bud. You too, when you're being
there are
serious.
first order implications in terms of faith in media, and then second order implications of who the factions are and what they're doing, which are none of my business, basically. So I leave that. But on the first
so
order
what you're
implication,
getting from this is like you're trying to see who's trying to cover it up, which media isn't.
Exactly.
Interesting. Nice. Do you have a list? You should check it twice and make a list, actually. I'm serious.
No, I'm always keeping a list. It's confirmed.
Okay, nice.
It's
Let me
confirmed.
know. Like,
Yeah, I've been
when you
keeping a list.
confirm, like
Doesn't-
in 5 months, if this is confirmed and we find out that William is going to be crown king or whatever, send me that list. I appreciate you. Thank you, buddy.
This is not a troll, but I do have to interject this one
listen,
piece of
listen.
evidence. There is a photo that came out of
Wait a second. Hold on. You said you go on mute. What list are you talking about?
the media.
Oh, like of the media who reported, like, honestly, and the media who tried to cover it up.
So there was a photo that just came out of Prince William wearing a kippa, a yarmulke, and I zoomed in and screenshotted that, and I posted it to my Snapchat, and everybody was, what the fuck? Because people don't understand that in England, Jews are basically incorporated very much into the fabric of the
What
society.
have to do with the topic, man? Come on.
Well, my point is,
There's a group of media. It's like all of them. It's not like bottom line. No one's running with this, including Elon, and Twitter's suppressing the likes. Listen to this. It was out of the top 20 trending 48 hours ago. There's 3 hashtags about Kate Middleton in different ways. Where is Kate Middleton dead are all the 3 of the top 20 trending. Now it's nowhere in any of the trendings for the last 24 hours. So they're doing a good job just trying to keep things cool for national security reasons. And that's what's going on right now. In Ireland, PM stepped down this morning. I think, not unrelated.
He stepped down because
Barack Obama. No,
he's leading an anti-Israeli,
Whatever it
movement.
may be, I don't know. That's over my head. I'm just pointing out facts. Obama came on a special visit that was totally unannounced yesterday to UK.
Yeah, and he walked left and he walked right. I saw the video. The guy is. Do you think he's essentially Darth Vader and that Joe Biden is Emperor Palpatine? That's how I view.
I have no opinion on that. But so as a trader, it's important, and then as just a kind of viewer of media, that's important too. For what you said is like, how are people running with the story, and what? Because at this point, every 24 hours she doesn't show her face, which it'll be forever because she's not alive. So every day that goes by, it's going to be like a pressure pot in terms of this story, as there will be rapid kind of acknowledgement of it.
Are they vampires because of his Transylvania mansion and the fact that they use these women to birth babies into existence and then they kill them to eliminate them from their power structure?
I have no idea about all that, man. But
don't you believe in a cabal or some type of secret society? No, obviously, the Freemasons are real. The Freemason society is real, and it's massive.
Well, if they're real, they're fighting amongst themselves in some faction battle.
Interesting. Do you know what the acronym OWL stands for? It means
You ever heard of anything like this, Gio? In monarchy recently?
No, this is groundbreaking.
In terms of this type of drama, death, say palace drama and intrigue in our lifetimes. Besides Di, which was Lady Diana, her interview alone caused the Queen decreed them to get divorced over her Martin Bashir interview. So simply doing one interview, this is Harry and Meghan leaving, plus the Epstein scandal, plus Andrew, plus Kate Middleton and Thomas Kingston, another royal, suicided a couple of 10 days ago, I think. A lot of stuff going on, guys. Now, my opinion on it is something going on, but who cares about opinions? For a monarchist, you should be tuned into this, Geo. Some sort of palace wipeout similar to some of those Nepali or Thai massacre of some kind. Or was it Tibet?
Yeah, it's a constitutional monarchy, so not a real monarchy.
Well, they're above the law, or would you say, right? Totally unprosecutable. Uncontrolled.
I mean, it depends what kind of monarchy you're talking about. In like Catholic theocracy, there was, the church to hold them accountable to some degree. Their own family, right? Yeah. There was a lot of regicides in human history too. So here, let me send you a list of regicides in human history. Hold on. That we know of.
I was looking through the list earlier yesterday, just fresh.
Oh, were you? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
But list of killed in action, right? List of killed by list of killed in action, list of murdered.
Right.
Charles I, interestingly, popped up.
Mm-hmm. A lot of kings were killed by their nobles if they got too corrupt. Oh, Abi's here. Perfect. Abi, what were some checks and balances of kings in human history? I was giving him a few examples, but...
Yeah, it's called the guillotine.
Yes, like, the French Revolution, was it that hard for like a few hundred men to just go and take the king and literally chop his head off?
Yeah.
Physically,
Yeah,
it's not
and
a real hard
also
thing.
a
to do,
lot
right?
of French revolutionaries were actually nobles.
Yeah, exactly. But and also intellectuals.
y-
But like in Korea, for example, there was one invasion where the Mongolians were able to outrun the messengers, or at least be right behind the messengers, in an invasion by the Jurchen, right? And the Jurchens tried this Hail Mary strategy that instead of fighting the forts one at a time and heading down to the capital, that they would essentially send a cavalry force of 300 special forces men to ride at top speed to reach the capital before the king could go into either the island hiding the island fortress or a mountain fortress to prevent himself from being captured as a hostage, right? And even during that time, he only had 80 cavalrymen in the entire capital to protect him, which was outnumbered by the 300 men and killed instantly within like 30, 40 minutes, right?
Right. I would also like
a lot of just in reality, most courts didn't have the number of security that people think that they did. Actually, they were secure generally by the justification of rule, even by the people, essentially. Sorry, go ahead.
Right. Also, when we're talking about anything, like, just really worried about the downsides, and that's an engineering problem, right? Like, how do you build a bridge that is risk-free, i.e., it doesn't collapse, and it doesn't collapse for you can get a good bridge that doesn't collapse for 100 years, right? After that, you need to build another bridge that doesn't collapse for 100 years, and then you need to build another bridge that doesn't collapse for 100 years, and so on and so forth, right? So there's two problems here. The first one is, how do you get a great quality bridge, right? How do you acquire a great quality bridge that is not risky, that is strong and safe, right? Extremely safe, like hyper safe. There is no such thing as too safe. Right? Then the question is, when the replacement of that bridge comes along, how do we get another bridge that is just as strong and just as great, and like maybe there's like some technological improvements, so it's made better that way, right? And so on and so forth. So we have two problems here. First is like the safety engineering problem, like how do you get a king that is high quality and low risk? And the second is a succession problem, which is, once that you get the high quality, low risk king, how do you plan the succession in a way where you get another high quality king who is also low risk, right? And you do it repeatedly. So that is an engineering problem. And the way I would like to suggest we look at it is, we have a lot of engineers. We have a lot of people who are very bright, and they should be thinking about this problem. Right?
Are you so daft that you think no one thought of this in the past, and this is not what the mandarins were, or this is not what any royal, superstructure is in the past? I mean, this is all the engineering was. Every single cabal who put up a puppet king throughout history is doing exactly what you're talking about. It's not doesn't require a core of engineers. It required.
Well, actually, before like a certain time period, I would say like the 50s or 60s.
You're a Democrat. If you're a Democrat, you would be thinking about how to manage the mob.
Abhi, you're in the Matrix. We couldn't hear the first part of what you said. Could you repeat that? But just real quick before you go.
Right. All right. Yeah, I was saying that as a monarchist, you need to manage the risks of the monarchy and make sure that the risks are not there. Like, there's no big risks, and preferably even small risks are taken care of, right? If you're a Democrat, you need to actually engineer a way to make democracy less democratic, i.e. less mob rule, right? And I think the Democrats have completely failed in making it less mob rule, as we can see with fascism, which was a democratic movement, as we can see with leftism, which is a democratic movement, and we can see with liberalism, which is another democratic movement. And we can see with various forms of conservatism, which have been corrupted by liberalism, which are again forms of democratic movements. So Right. So the people who claim to be pro-democracy, they have completely failed in making anti-mob engineering applications. Like they have basically given up to the mob, and they did try to do it in the American Revolution, where they tried to control the mob by a thing called the Constitution. But that thing has completely failed because people just didn't follow it.
Actually, it was
Right.
forced.
So the
It was
question for
sending in the troops to stop every rebellion, like
Right,
Jay's
right,
rebellion, Lyser's rebellion.
Right.
It was
right,
actually
right.
forced. But then, like by the 60s,
Absolutely.
because of the public perception of the use of force against peaceful protesters and the civil rights, that soured the use of the National Guard, and also Kent State University, where National Guard shot protesting students who were getting riled up. So those
Right,
two
right.
incidents actually made American politicians more scared to stop riots with the National Guard, for example, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But the question is, then if you look at the monarchists, the question for monarchists is generally, okay, you get this, first of all, how do you get this super competent monarch, right? And we actually do have a lot of candidates for a super stable
We
monarch.
already had
They're
Obama.
called
We tried this.
CEOs.
What do you think Obama and these type of guys are? The Bush family, Clinton family, Obama.
Do you think?
One by one, the
Right, do you think-
technocrats make their choice. They're already smart guys like you. They need the new monarchy. So that's this uni party we've had in place since post World War II.
Do you think?
At this-
Okay,
at
what do
this
you think
group
would
that
happen?
is-
Okay,
that is-
I have to.
that is
Right,
what
but
this is.
they are not monarchs. First of all, they're not monarchs. They have
It's
to
what
deal
it
with
is.
the media.
It's effectively the same thing. They do have some guy. We don't
No,
know
it's
who he
not.
is.
I'm sorry. No, it's not. Like they have to deal. They have no control over the bureaucracy. They have no control over the media. They have no control over the education system.
Complete
They have no control over
all three.
NGOs.
Complete control over
No, they do not.